There we go. All right. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and I'm gonna do one thing out of order before we do the minutes. So we had a very funky meeting a couple weeks ago. So welcome, Kim. You haven't really been officially welcome. You showed up late in that call, and then we were like, "You got there and went, see ya." Pretty much.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
do. So
Hi.
this is where you have 25 minutes to describe your why and to inspire the team with your why.
Oh, I
you
already
can just
did
do it in
that.
35 seconds.
Nuna, she inspires me.
Well, she's a badass.
Yes.
That's not fair because that's everybody's answer.
One of us started it.
It's not wrong if it's true.
That feels so good inside, you know? Oh.
I think it's a mission and it represents something I think near and dear to all of us in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I was moved personally by her story. I'm moved personally by the mission. And I'm at a point in life where it just feels good to be involved and do something good and do something about it and pay it forward. And it felt like a calling when I met her and attended a fundraising group that Christine had helped host. She did a great job. And I'm just happy to be welcomed and on board.
Well, welcome.
Thank
you. I will add this piece here because it just seems to fit. I was reminded in the last couple of weeks of the power of the story, of this story. I think I've mentioned this before, but from time to time, one thing I have done to raise money is whenever I have people use like my tickets to things, they'll say, "How much do I owe you?" And I'll say, "No, I just asked you to make a donation to Wounded Healers." And last month I had a spare set of tickets, which is crazy when you hear what I had. I had a spare 2 tickets, excuse me, for Hamilton. So
wow.
and it was crazy how long it took me to find some people to go. And I had forgotten I ordered these tickets 3 years ago because the show got canceled due to COVID. So I had actually forgot where the tickets were. They weren't my regular tickets. They were really good tickets. I mean, as they said, "How much are the tickets?" And when I told them, I went kind of like, "Oh my God, that's a lot." And I said, "But just make a donation." And when I saw them at the show, they said, "I just want to know, we just made a donation. Love the cause. Really want to learn more about it. How can we get involved?" And then I went and looked, and they made a donation bigger than what the tickets cost.
Oh,
All
wow.
because of the story they got, even just from the website and a brief description. So I think the story is powerful, and a lot of this I think is fundraising is about just finding more ways to tell the story. So that's my story.
Well, I'm ready. Ready for all of you guys to give me your tips and tricks, and I think I have some ideas, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get through the always fun part of the prior meetings minutes. You only have the one meeting officially because the other meeting wasn't official. Berta did share in her email sort of her summaries of that discussion a couple weeks ago. And I sent out the minutes, admittedly late, it was this morning. Is there anything we need to discuss or change in the minutes from December? And if not,
I have a
need
question.
Motion, yeah.
I have no notes from in my thing for the meeting.
I just got an email.
Was I there?
The
I
one on
don't
a couple
believe
weeks
I was.
ago?
No, in the December meeting, I think I missed a meeting and I don't. Anyway, it says I was there. I have no notes. I don't know if anybody else has me in their notes.
Yeah, you are there, Gina.
I
The
was.
last- Yes.
It was the week before the holidays, and I think the biggest piece, if I remember, was just the budget stuff.
Yeah, and we talked about trip to Kenya before we closed the year.
Okay, so I was there, therefore I have no comment on the minutes. That's all. Okay. Go on mute.
Well, any comments or changes? Speak them. Otherwise, I need a motion.
I motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting.
Awesome. Second.
Second,
All right. All in favor? Say
Aye.
aye.
Ah,
Opposed? None. Passed. Done. Move
I'm
on.
abstaining for the record,
Because you don't remember?
because I don't remember. They're probably right, but you know.
All right. I don't have my printed copy today. So in the minutes, which we just approved, there were a number of items in the action items that I know we need to talk about today, because some of them have happened, a lot of them have not. You know, a big piece was around what we were going to do with this idea of pursuing monthly donors. Let me ask you, Nuna, and I know I could do better. Occasionally I do this. How do you think we're doing at engaging with your social media posts
I
as
think
a board?
I see most of your reactions nowadays and sharing, and I think so far so good. People have been so much engaged to that. And I don't usually do the social media nowadays. It's done by a person in Kenya. So I also get to see, yeah. So I get to see it too. And that was a huge burden. That was a relief for me. So
I will tell you that there are a lot of posts and it's hard for me to keep up. I try. Oh.
yeah, I was talking to her to just like maybe post one post a week. I mean a day, because like they are like brrr, they come too much. But you know, she's new and she's trying to do the best she can. But yeah, the posts are too much, but the ones that I've seen, I've always seen everybody get engaged in one way or another.
Which
Well,
posts are these? Am I following all of the right accounts?
Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook and
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn, yeah.
Unfortunately, the algorithm demands content, so you really can't post too much. It rewards posting. So going down to one a day would you know, it would force the algorithm to not show our content as much.
That's what she said. She did a research and she said for us to be popping up, we have to post, engage as much as we can. So
Yep.
she posted at least 2 or 3 posts a day.
Yeah, that's really how you play the game.
well, to that point, Christine or anybody, because I'm like you, Jana, I try and do my best, and then I also realize I miss some because I don't go in intentionally every day. Is there anything that we can do in sort of, other than following, where we're more assured of seeing them? Because I'd be happy to go in and do them more, but I just don't see them.
Yes. So on Instagram, for example, let me see if I can pull it up. Okay. So you see that little check mark that I have up here, the bell with the check mark?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm notified every time there's a Wounded Healers post. So I'm guaranteed to see something when I log in. So you go to the account and click on the bell and it says, do you want to see posts, stories, lives? I just click on all of it. That's one trick on Instagram. Facebook.
And we're talking about the Wounded Healers
I can't see,
International.
like where, Christine?
So are you?
You have to go to the profile. You can't
Click
go
on
to
the
your own.
bell.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think,
On the bell.
so I am in the page myself.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
can't be
see.
logged in as Wounded Healers. Yeah,
That's
Click on the
awesome.
little bell at the top.
right.
Well,
Now, if there were only a way to say, I don't want to see somebody, that would be.
So you can do that on Facebook. You can snooze people
Or unfollow.
or unfollow. Yeah. Facebook, in terms of seeing every single post, I don't recall that they have a feature like the Instagram account does. And I'm certain LinkedIn doesn't either. But so that's the best option on Instagram, is to, like, the ones you always want to see their stuff, click on the bell.
Well, it would help to have it turned on too,
Well,
notifications.
I will tell you, Facebook notifications aren't working for me, so I'm not surprised.
They're
I
really
see them in my
working.
feed.
I think too with Instagram is way more powerful than the Facebook, especially in this side of the country. Like if I'm promoting Facebook post, we do more in Africa more than we would do in the US.
Yes, I would probably agree with that assessment too.
Yes.
Well, I just make sure I go to the Wounded Healers page from time to time.
But with the LinkedIn, if people can just share the post on LinkedIn, because it's where I get more connection of people who are bigger. Our dog is scratching himself so much.
So for Facebook, you can turn your notifications on for those posts, and it
Yeah.
will cause it to
Mm.
kick back into your feed more often.
I'm not sure.
Respects your request. I'm
Yeah.
the admin on a couple groups.
So,
on Facebook,
if
and I
you-
don't even get those notifications.
Hmm.
Oh, Kim, you're saying that, not asking it?
Yeah, I'm saying you can.
Oh,
I
okay.
just did it.
Okay.
Like if you click the 3 dots on the
Mhm.
top of the most recent post, it'll give you some notification options. So don't know how my phone's going to be buzzing all the time.
Okay. Got it. All right. Well, I mean, the point of this is to do the best we can, because that's a way to keep spreading the love. You and your folks are creating the love stories, so it's just a way to continue to build followership. Okay.
Let me just clarify, because I just did what you said. It says turn on notifications for this post, meaning if the post gets commented on. So it's not the page notification.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Bummer.
I know.
Well, you hit follow settings on the page, and
Yeah.
it says, how do you want to see it in your news feed? You can put it as a favorite.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
is what I did.
So I will undo the,
Under there, you can go to notifications, up to 5 post notifications per day.
Oh, awesome. You found it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on Facebook, but you have to go to the Wounded Healers page. And then
Yes.
3 little dots behind that.
Yeah. So you're talking about here. So right now my follow settings are, I get highlights.
Yeah. And it's a little different on the phone than the computer.
Yeah, probably. So cool.
Oh, wow, there are a lot of choices there, huh? Okay.
One day, people will figure out how this works. You know what I would suggest, Nuna, besides just the pictures with cards, is a message in there. Because right now it's just a picture. If there's an article or something that people can read, that would be good too.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that brought a lot more attention. Top of mind for me, so. Okay. All right, let's move on from that. Let me take a quick look here. Nuna, did we get a fundraising folder set up in the Google Drive for all the information, especially that came out of Christine's work?
Yeah, we have a folder. I don't remember what we said about that. Like, was I supposed to create a folder for?
Create a fundraising folder within the drive, though anything that relates to fundraising could go in there.
So there's the WHI USA shared folder, right, Nuna?
Yeah.
And everything is in there. But there's no fundraising folder.
So I have a fundraising one that I use. I can just move it there.
I think when you and I were looking at the Google folder structure, there were 2 accounts that you had folders under and something weird like that.
Once you have it moved, then you can share it with all of us.
I think she shared the
Yeah.
whole top folder, which is nice.
Yeah, that should be
don't-
shared, the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't remember if I received it.
Oh, it's just, you just shared it with me, Nuna.
Oh, really?
So I'll have to share it with everybody. So this is owned by your Gmail, the one that you shared with me, not your Wounded Healers International.
Mm.
And I think you were going to work on having one under Wounded Healers International, moving
I
all the
see.
files, because you had everything in one place for everything Wounded Healers.
That will happen. I'm not gonna share this one because I need to move it to my other email. So I'm gonna do that before the end of this week, Jeff.
You know, oh yeah, because we've been working on having the files where we can access them since I started.
Yeah. I have all of them. I just need to organize them and give it to you in the right way. Let me not confuse you by sending you what I have at the moment.
Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful. And then on the fundraising side, like Christine, you were sharing a lot of documents. But for me to go find them, I got to go find that link and then go find that email, and they can all
Mhm.
get them in one place. It'll make life easier for all of us.
Yes.
Is there any help you need with that, Nuna, or is it clear what needs to happen now?
Yeah, it's clear. I'll just reach out to Christine to get the links to the folder that because I also have links, and then I can merge them, all of them together. I can do that.
Okay. Okay. Going in order here. Shana, were you able to find out about this question in donor box? About setting up a campaign that's monthly only? So that's
don't
all
think
they
we
would
could.
say?
I thought I mentioned that at the last meeting. I don't think we can.
Okay,
You can't restrict the types of donations people can make in a campaign.
you cannot.
No. So when somebody goes in and makes a donation, even if we only give them one option, they can still select other options, I believe. I can
Okay,
check again.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I didn't expect that we could prohibit it. Well, maybe we could, but also like right now, when you go in there, the option that shows up as the primary choice is the one-time donation. You have to click a separate on that page to go over to the monthly.
Oh, that can be done.
Yeah, that
So
can
it's
be
like an
changed.
extra step.
Yeah, like you mean like when they get there, they instead of seeing the like one-time donation to have the monthly donation first.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
That can be done.
I'm
Yeah,
going to look
I'll,
now.
I will.
What page are you looking at, Jeff?
Let me show you here. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you go to my page, this is the viewed version. See over here, one time,
I don't
is
think
the
you can change
default.
that.
and I would rather have it be monthly as a default.
Okay.
That's why I'm
That can be
curious.
done.
I don't know. I mean, anything we can do to make it one less step for someone to go monthly, especially if we're doing a monthly campaign.
So Nuna, I don't think we can do that because when you're in the system, it has options and they're in a certain order on the form, on the actual box. that you check. Somebody needs to go on mute, whoever has kids in the background.
Sorry, everybody, we're here.
Hi.
Sorry. Let's see. Sorry,
Welcome.
everybody.
That's fantastic. I take it back. You can leave them on. I'm just playing around. I'm checking it out. I changed
Okay,
it.
well, that's the question, if we can do that. So I'm hearing you say we can't do a page that's just monthly, but we need to find out if we can have at least the monthly be the primary. the opening suggestion, but maybe not.
So I'm playing around with it right now.
Okay.
So I don't think you can, but I'm going to try something.
Well, and I think we also discussed, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we agreed that we could, and it made sense to create a separate campaign and donor box that was monthly targeted, so the message would be a little different.
So as it turns out, you can create a monthly only campaign. I did not realize you could do that. But if you give people the option of a one-time donation or a monthly donation, it's always going to show one time first, just because it goes in the order that the options are that you select. So that is a limitation.
So to play that back, if they have both options, it's going to show one time first.
Correct.
But we could create a campaign that shows only monthly as the option.
Correct. Because for each one, wait a second, hold on. I might have found the setting. I'm playing. Damn
Well,
it.
let me just weigh in and say that Nuna had set up a page where it says become a Pendo member. So that's the recurring membership area. So there's a page for that. So if anything, it should be on that page where we can make that correction.
Do you mean a page on the website?
Yep.
Well, that'd be great. And also, I'm just saying, not only for the website, but for each of us in our individual efforts. Ideally, if I'm reaching out to people, asking them to go on a monthly basis, I would like that to be as simple as possible for them to do that
Mhm.
versus them going, because I think the message is maybe a little different. Maybe it's
works.
not a lot different, but it is a little different.
It works. I changed it. It didn't take the first time, but it does change. So if you refresh that screen now, Jeff,
Yeah.
it should start off as monthly instead of one time. I guess you won't be able to notice because of that, but the general campaign.
Oh, it did. Oh, wait a minute.
You'd have to close it and start again because
Oh. Oh, I can't do the recurring.
well, it doesn't matter because if you refresh the page, it'll look exactly like the page we're looking at right now. But it's okay. It looks
Oh, I
like it
got you.
works.
Cause all right, I could
What
already. said that.
about, what about the page? Can you see it that I'm talking about on the website or no?
I removed it, Christine. Once you click the Pendo, it just take you down to that, to the donor box form that's right back down there.
Yes, I'm saying, can it have the monthly be
Oh,
prominent
okay.
like Jeff is asking?
That page, let me see if I can't tweak that one. Hold on. By the way, when I go to Wounded Healers /give, it says page not found, and that's a page that I had bookmarked. So I don't know if you can change that to redirect to the current page that's donate.
Nuna we have a new website. We have a new host and website. So I'm not sure what.
Yeah, that was the old one.
You can create a URL and then have it redirect. So you can create a /give, and then if somebody gets there, it just redirects to donate. They won't see it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So Nuna, we have to figure this out because the I don't know what page is being linked on that donate page.
It's
If it's the
inspired.
general fund or if you created a unique campaign that links to. And becoming a Pendo member doesn't appear to be connected to donor box. So there are a lot of little odd settings, and I don't know that we ever synchronized all of these settings. Because I know, Nuna, you go in the background and you make some changes, and
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting.
Okay. So what else do we have to do with that today? Are we clear on what we're doing next?
I don't know that there's I don't know that I'm completely clear on what are we doing. We have 4 campaigns. These are the campaigns. This is what we're using them for. We have a general fund or we don't. I don't know. I don't know. So it would be helpful to know that so that we can make sure that all of the campaigns in Donor Box, one, are set up and are mapping to whatever the pages are and the links are that we're using.
I think
Well-
we can match the 2 campaigns on the donor box to the one, and I'm sure not all these other people don't have the same information, but we can match the Wounded Healer General Fund and Inspiring Hope and match them together, because that's the form that's on the main donate button on the website. And then everybody else will continue keeping their link of their own fundraising. So we can
How
have
about Give the Gift of Health? What is that? That's a
the
specific
that's the
campaign.
campaign. Yeah, that's the campaign that we were running last year for.
So that should be no longer active.
Yeah,
Because
that's-
then, just like the benefit concert should be no
Right.
longer active.
yeah.
So I would say going forward in the near term, we're really gonna have 2 campaigns set up. We're gonna have a general fund, which we use for any kind of donations.
Mhm,
And then we'd have a monthly recurring donation page and campaign.
mhm.
Is that right? Am I hearing that right?
Yeah.
I just have a clarification question. You're saying that it would be a campaign, but we have our own campaign pages. So are you saying the campaign page is linked to that, or I need some?
Yeah,
So the
I'm
campaign
suggesting
page-
right
hang
now
on,
we
Jeff.
have, right now
Let
we
me just-
have 3 campaigns set up that I'm aware of. We have general donor, we have the concert, and we have the hope. And those are the 3, which each one of us could and should be creating our sub pages off of that. What we're saying is we're gonna shut
Can you
down.
enable, sorry, can you enable screen sharing, Nuna,
Yeah, Jeff.
for everybody?
Oh yeah, I can do that. There you go.
All right.
You
Let
got
me
it.
show you all what this craziness looks like. So this is Donor Box in the background. We actually have 6 campaigns. We have not archived the benefit concert. I didn't archive it at the time because we still had some lingering donations coming in.
Okay.
Inspiring Hope and Change was the main campaign from a long time ago. And then we created this, you see here back in March, we created the general fund so that we could consolidate everything in one place.
Okay,
Give the Gift of Health, you can see here, was created in November of 2022. And as I understand it, that was the
End of
Giving
year.
Tuesday, end of year campaign. So
Mhm.
that can close down.
yes,
These 2 other ones are campaigns that you created, Nuna, for specific reasons. I don't know where they link to. But these are all of them. What now in the general fund, once you go in the fund, down here, let me make the screen bigger. Up here, you see fundraisers. So we can invite every one of us to be a fundraiser for that campaign. When you do that, let me go here. Let me do my, oh, sorry. You can't see that, can you?
no,
Share
share another.
desktop.
thing.
there. I'm sharing my desktop. So this is my donor box. I don't want to go to plans. I want to just go to donor box. Log in with your account. So now I'm going to log in with my personal account so you can see what I look like. Sorry. Into donor box. These are all my passwords. Now you get to see all of my passwords. Sort of. Donor box. And there's your account, Dan. Okay, that's not important. Copy my password. All right, so logging in as the fundraiser. This is what you all will do as individuals. When you log in up here, no, these are, okay, this is not me as the campaign. Never mind, I give up. This is me as the donor. I have too many accounts. When we log in as fundraisers, we are logging into our individual pages that look identical to the regular fundraiser page, except that's where you can edit your message, Jeff. That makes sense?
Well, maybe for Jeff, it didn't answer my question. which
Okay,
was
what's your question?
around, the monthly recurring, are we separating that out into a separate campaign, or should it just go into the general fund? Like, I'm trying to just understand that.
That's a question of setup, I think.
I think it should be, it's the same, if somebody is choosing to be a monthly donor, chooses from the same campaign, but instead of choosing one time, they choose the monthly donor, but we cannot create, I don't think it's,
So this is the page that they go to. You see how it defaulted to monthly now?
Yeah.
Instead of, and this is where they make a donation, and that's what you're saying, Nuna.
yeah.
And if they make the donation monthly, then that's where it comes in.
Okay, I'm asking this because of, yes, like the communication. So the communication that I create will need to specify here one time versus the invitation to join monthly, right?
Well, if you wanted to limit it to either of these choices, you have to create a unique campaign. So for example, over here, we would have to create a Wounded Healers General Fund monthly, general fund one time. But we're going to need to come up with unique names because whatever name you use here is the public name as well, which is really frustrating.
Okay, I think that's why I'm confused, is because we have the Pendo page and then we have the general fund. So
I don't even know what the Pendo page is.
So the Pendo page is the one that has the inspiring. If you look at the website on the donation button, it says that one. That one is
that's where it goes right now. So
yeah,
This-
it just drop you down.
yeah.
I don't see, where's their Pendo page? Is it this little thing here? Where do I click?
You're not clicking anything. It's all right there. Yeah, it's become a member. There's there's information about monthly, and then you can go below, but right now it defaults to that.
So where
one.
with those, if I make a donation on that page, which campaign does it show
Yeah,
up?
where does it
on?
go?
It goes to inspiring one, inspiring hope.
So it goes back to
Oh.
donor box.
Yeah.
Got it.
Inspiring hope. Why is it going there?
That's my question.
It's now, that's why I'm saying we need to merge the general fund and these two campaigns. We need to just make it one.
Yeah, I mean, because on the flip side, we want to be able to pull reports and communicate, with one time, like as we get this going, it'll be a communication to people that have been going one time and then the people that are monthly. Like we really want comms to the monthly people because we say they're going to get like that quarterly newsletter, or I can't remember exactly. So I'm just wondering, do you have to have a campaign set up to pull them separately and not have them in the general fund? And I don't know donor box to answer that question.
So
that's
the donor box give a clarity. Like for example, we have like some monthly donors. Once you click the manage, you're gonna see supporters. You'll see them people who are monthly already. So it's easy for whichever campaign they are in, it's easy for you to fight them. As long as they are going through the donor box.
okay. Yeah, I just want to make
Well-
this super streamlined.
Well, but
If you go to recurring plan, Gina.
But here's the thing, Nuna, that they're easy to find today. But a year from now, when we're getting 1,000 donations a year or 2,000 donations a year, it's not easy to find.
So I think where we have confusion is that we have a series of campaigns and then we don't know how to get to those campaigns publicly. I know where to find them on donor box. But if I send somebody a donate button, what used to happen is I would send them a link and God only knows where the link went. Did it go to Venmo? Did it go? And so not everything directed here. And sometimes it would go, and I think Nuna, you were tweaking the page. And when the web page got tweaked, it might have redirected people to a different campaign. So we haven't been consistently using one place we'd redirect everybody. And that was why we created the general fund. At least that was the plan behind the
Oh.
general fund, which is when everything comes in, it goes to the general fund. Every link we have out there to donate goes to the general fund, with the exception of things like Give the Gift of Health, the benefit concert.
Yes, okay, okay.
And so that's the way it's supposed to be. Now, when you go to the general fund, you see here fundraisers. Okay. every one of us received an invite to become a fundraiser. When you log in as a fundraiser, so Dan, I am now impersonating you. These are, Dan has been invited to participate. So Dan is currently a fundraiser for 2 campaigns.
Got it.
When Dan goes into his campaign, here he can edit it. And on the main page, he can say, hi, I'm Dan. Hi, I am
Yes.
Dan. And then when you update it and you go to Dan's page, that is what it's going to look like. So then Dan has a campaign that he can share specifically. And when he makes those donations, I know that these are funds raised through Dan because it came from his campaign.
Sure.
Does that make
Yeah, I
sense?
understand that because I understood it for how
Yeah.
we went about why we did the concert, et cetera. So.
And
yeah,
everybody,
in
just
terms-
for everybody's sake, and Kim, just so you see that, this is where I
Yeah.
said, hi, I'm Dan. And so when Dan, you do fundraising, you share this link. It takes them back to the general fund, but it specifically says you're the fundraiser. Now, whether or not, and all of this messaging you can customize.
Yes.
So that's what you can do. So Jeff, whatever story you want to use, whatever message you want to use, you can edit it here. It doesn't change what's on the website because that's just the general language that the organization is using.
Well, no, I get that because I have edited mine.
Right.
And made, but Mike, I still come back to the question and I've heard a lot of questions. My thought was the reason I was suggesting a separate campaign for monthly is I want to have a consistent message. That's what I'm looking at. So let's say that I go to Christine and I go to Christine because I know Christine and I say, hey, Christine, I'd love for you to consider being a monthly donor to Wounded Healers. Last year you gave X. For a few dollars more, doing it every month, it's consistent. Christine says, yeah, I'd like to do that. I just seem like if she goes to the general page that's talking about everything, now she might go, yeah, you know what, I'm going to just do 10, and it's her choice. But if instead she goes to a page that says, you know, welcome to, we'd love to have you join and become a monthly donor. So the whole message is about monthly on that page.
We understand what you're saying, Jeff. And basically, if you look in the background, it means we have to create a separate campaign. And so you're going to have donation link A, general fund, default settings. Donation link B, specifically the only option to get is monthly.
I understand, but
So
I'm
we
saying
could,
this
we
because
could create that.
it's easy, but
and-
this group hasn't said yes or no. That's why I'm bringing it up again. I threw it out and then someone said, I think we should only have one. That's fine. I just haven't heard a decision on the
Right.
suggestion.
And maybe the solution is what we did, which is defaulted to monthly. They have to specifically select one time. So those are our options as it's currently set up. And then what I would ask everybody to do is log in and tweak your individual page and use your unique link. We can't stop people from going to the website to make donations. I'll take that all day. But what we can do is individually share our respective links when we're doing our own email campaigns, emailing friends, posting on social, that kind of thing. So the question then from the group is, do you want to create a second fund? Here's the danger with that, Jeff. What if you send me a link and you want to invite me to become a monthly donor and I go to your link and I really don't want to be, but I'll donate. And
No,
there's
that's
no
not a
option
problem,
there.
but that's not a risk. Well, no, what I'm saying is, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a separate campaign for monthly. The message is monthly, but you still have the option to do one time, but you have to push yourself to do that versus like right now, my page is about donate. And even if it says monthly is the first option, fine, they can click on one time. I'm just saying from a message standpoint on that page, it would be focused on monthly. Like, here's the benefit of being a monthly donor.
You can just tweak the messaging already.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
No, I'm saying on the general page, you could have a message that says, here's the benefit of being a monthly donor. We need your support, blah, 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 blah. You can always make a one-time donation, but we would love to have monthly supporters. And it defaults to monthly, and they can always choose to make a single donation.
Okay.
That's an option. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying we should.
But is that answering your question, Jeff?
Jeff wants the page where that's the only message. That's his point. Correct, Jeff? You
Yeah,
go to a
I'm
website and the
I'm thinking of
only
it like a
message
funnel.
there
I'm
is
thinking like a
monthly.
funnel.
Mhm.
In a funnel concept, you're moving people towards a decision that you want, frankly, and they have to opt out of that funnel effectively in the message. And to me, if we had that, that's what it does. It goes, I'm coming to Christine. I'd love for you to donate monthly. Here, click on this link. And she gets a message that's only about the amazing power of monthly. She
Right.
still can pick one time.
Right.
I'm okay with that being the option, but you got to make the extra effort, and the message is very clear.
Right.
This is about monthly. So it's the
So-
funnel.
So the
that's what I'm
mechanics,
thinking.
the mechanics of that are donation page A, generic, donation page B, specific messaging about monthly. And if you want to, and if you're going to send out a communication and you want your friends to donate monthly, you send them donation bank link B.
Yep.
We have both of those links. They're otherwise identical. They all go to a general fund. So that's what Jeff is talking about.
And archiving the others that we're not using right now. And if not, I'll just do the messaging. That's seems to me to make sense in terms of the funnel.
That makes sense, Christine?
Yes, I think, I mean, the way I understand it, it's just, again, setting up in the back end, a campaign specific to monthly donors. Okay. Yeah, we can.
I
do
think the
that.
back end doesn't matter. I think what matters is the operations of it. Because whatever everybody decides, we'll figure out the back end. I think what we want to understand is what's the messaging and what are we asking people to do?
Yeah, and that, I guess that's where I was lost before with, like, we had this website page and I thought we were pushing people there because that's the language, or that's what's being shared currently. But again, we can take that and put it into our personal pages. That, I think that makes sense as well.
I think the history of that conversation, where I was going with that conversation is, in the past, we had 2 or 3 campaigns that were active. And so we weren't consistently pushing everybody to a single campaign like the general fund.
Hmm.
And so that's why last year, what I recommended we do is have a general fund, and we all have links to that. And unless we're doing something like a special campaign, everybody just uses that link throughout the year.
Hmm.
That was the point of that. But you can see in the background, the Inspiring Hope and Change, we never closed that down because that link was active in a couple places. And there have been other campaigns that Nuna's created for different reasons, like the Kuzadata campaign that we're not actively using, but she's got that link for something else. It doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
And then Jeff, the shutting down of those other campaigns, the benefit concert just stayed open because of lingering contributions.
And if there's no reason to shut them down, because it's only distracting to me when I see that page, but I don't look at that page.
No, nobody
Like-
does. The only reason that somebody would see it is they go back to an email that Dan sent out from September or
Yeah.
October, and they click on the link and the link isn't live anymore.
Well, I would prefer that they don't ever get a dead link from us.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no reason to deactivate the page. It's just no more money is going to come in from it. And at some point in time, we can deactivate it. But we're getting into the weeds of the administration. I think the big question is, do we want to have a link that sends people to messaging that is just make a donation? We could use your help. Or do we send them to a page that says, we really are looking for monthly donors? And we talk about the value of monthly donating. And then you pick the link you want to use for whatever the purpose is.
Yes. Well, Nuna, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was
Oh, there you go.
I think we can do that. We can create information on the website that say one-time donation and a monthly donation. And once you click that, it will give you more information about like what it is now. This is how much money can be used. And then another one that would redirect you with to the monthly donation. The only thing that the website that I'm using right now, it doesn't have the host that I'm using doesn't have the bucket information, so like pages that are not visible. So that's why I don't have anything that's not, whatever the website has to be all open. So
Oh, but Nuna, you can just have buttons on the website, and you don't have to have embed the donor box page.
that's what I mean. It's yeah.
You just
sure.
create a button and then you embed a hyperlink on the button. When they click it, that's when they go out to donor box. And
I
what
can
you
do
see on the
that.
website, they won't see it until after they click the button.
Yeah, you can do that. I can do that tomorrow, soon enough,
Okay,
and this will be done. Yeah.
The benefit of doing things like that is you can change the campaigns in the background all you want, but the website never changes because the donate button is the donate button.
That's true.
Now, all of this is important for fundraising at the end of the day, because when we're doing fundraising, it's important to understand that campaigns are designed to be used to collect money around a particular thing.
Right.
And when we have a campaign going, we all need to make the effort to use that link. Everybody will be invited to be a fundraiser. And when we are fundraising using our individual pages, messaging that we customize for ourselves, we're using the right link. We open it, we use it for messaging around Valentine's Day. We do something around Veterans Day. We do something for the 4th of July. Maybe they're each individual campaigns. If somebody happens to go to the general fund and make a donation, we'll take it. But the point of having the campaigns is so that as an organization, we can go back and see how much money did we raise through this campaign. And the only way to do that is to get people to go to give money in that bucket, if you will.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And that's why I don't know if monthly recurring files as a campaign, because it's just something we're going to be doing ongoing forever. Like right now, we're going to have this focus push on it, but like the trip coming up, that's a campaign.
So to be clear, you can have a campaign and set it up with page A and page B. Where
Right.
it's
So
the
the general
campaign,
fund.
in the campaign, you can push people to a monthly page version of the campaign or just the general version of the campaign. So to use Jeff's logic, if we create campaign around cookies, all right, so we're going to do a cookie fundraiser. And on the cookie fundraiser pages, we can either send them to a page where they can choose one time and monthly, and it's just generic language, or we can send them to a page that says cookies. We could use monthly donations, and here's the value of monthly donations. So we have cookies, campaign A, cookies, campaign B, and the only difference between the two is the messaging you get when you land on the page.
Yeah.
But it's still part of the cookies campaign. And when the cookies campaign is over, we shut it down. Everybody goes back to using the general fund link.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, but is what I was saying about how monthly is just something that's ongoing in perpetuity makes sense in terms of like, maybe that's why it should sit in the general fund.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because the danger of inviting monthly donations on the campaign is that when the campaign shuts down, so does the monthly donation link.
well, and I don't know why we would shut it down. To me, you can have a campaign and
Because then we can't track donations. If somebody signs up to be a monthly donor on our cookie campaign and they keep donating, the campaign's closed, and now we have the lima bean campaign.
no, that's why I'm saying we would never close the monthly campaign ever. And every time that I went out specifically asking for monthly, I would use that link. When I'm doing more of a general, like I do for last summer, I did a birthday campaign. It didn't change anything. I just used a general fund link. I called it a birthday campaign because I reached out and said, hey, it's my birthday. Here's what I'm doing for my birthday. who else will join me in this? They went through the general fund.
Yes, they did, but I don't think I'm clear saying this clearly. We have a campaign. The campaign opens. We use the campaign link to fundraise, and then the campaign closes. If somebody were to choose making a monthly donation under that campaign, every monthly donation going forward will continue adding to that campaign, even if the campaign is closed. That might not be a problem. Recognize
Maybe I'm
that
missing
a
you.
year and a half
I
from
see
now.
what you're saying now. I see what you're saying now. So let's use the concert. If someone had signed up under the concert as a monthly contributor and we decided to archive it, like their money wouldn't be accepted, like unless we archived it or I guess
Right.
combined into the general fund.
And in the
So
meantime, if they're donating in June 2023, that concert fundraiser is still collecting money. It doesn't get added to the general fund without us doing something administratively in the background.
right. So that way, if they're to circle back on something you said before, even with the general fund, we can customize the language that's attached to that.
Mhm.
So it just makes sense, again, to me, to keep the monthly donations in there, like coming through there so that we know we're never going to shut off the general fund also.
So what do you want to do then if you're going to do
Yeah.
a fundraising campaign like Give the Gift of Health, and you want to encourage people to make monthly donations? How do you differentiate that? You see what I'm saying? Because you have the general fund monthly donation link, just the general fund where they can choose monthly.
Yeah,
I will no longer have funds coming in through the Give the Gift of Health campaign. The only way to track a campaign is to use a campaign specific link. And maybe at the end of the day, who cares? We just want the money. But this is about us being able to identify where the funds are coming in, what are they being sourced from, to see the effectiveness of those campaigns.
Well, I feel like, I think this is a really important discussion and we spent a long time on it, and I'm feeling like I feel like there's still confusion. Because I hear conversations about when we shut down the monthly campaign, and I'm saying that would never, ever shut down that campaign. And anytime you want to use it, whether it's in February of 2023 or October of 2023 or 2026, that would never end. It's whenever I'm specifically asking someone to do that. To me, because your point, Janat, I see it as it's tracking. I'm saying messaging.
So I think, Jeff, where this might be confusing is that I'm not disagreeing with you. If somebody is donating using a campaign specific link and they opt for monthly, every donation that comes in through that single choice that they've made will forever and always be tagged to that campaign. So
I
if
think
somebody
that's great.
decided to make a monthly donation as a result of the campaign for the concert, we're still getting donations under the concert. We can't close that link down. What Christine was saying is everybody who wants to be monthly, just use the general fund link, and that's the link that will live in perpetuity. The risk of having 17 monthly campaigns active out there, and at some point it becomes cumbersome and not administrable.
That's where I
At some
think there's
point, we've got to close
confusion.
down.
I'm not suggesting 17 monthly campaigns.
Well,
That's
5
right.
years from now, if we've run 17 campaigns, every one of which has a monthly link that we never want to shut down, that's where we're going to end up at some point in the future.
I'm not suggesting that at all. That's why I think there's confusion. I'm not in any way suggesting that.
But I thought you were saying never, ever, ever close down a monthly campaign, not a monthly link.
No, I'm saying there is a single monthly campaign.
Mhm.
And all the language is about monthly, encouraging it, why it's a benefit.
Mhm.
That campaign, I see no reason to close because
Agreed.
it will always tell us where it comes from, and it'll only be one. It'll never be two, it'll never be five, it'll be one.
So that means Give the Gift of Health campaign in December. We don't encourage monthly donations.
No, you do, but it's not limited to that.
Right. So in December, somebody donates under that campaign and chooses to donate monthly. That
Right.
monthly donation is tethered to that campaign.
That's fine for me. I
And
think
we
that's
can
fine.
never close that campaign link, which is how we end up at 5 years in the future, 17 versions of those.
Because you're gonna, yeah.
Because we're never going to close down the Give the Gift of Health monthly donation link. We're never going to close it down. So it's living in the background. We might not actively be pushing it today.
Okay,
Right.
so maybe I misunderstood something. Take that campaign. What's it called again in December?
Give the Gift of Health.
Give the Gift of Health. If I donated monthly to that, and you're saying that when you shut down the campaign, my donations would be shut off?
Is that what you said, Nuna?
I didn't think that was the case. I thought the link would stop working. Like if I went a year later, the link might not work.
I thought you said, Nuna, that when we close the link, the donations stop.
No, it's
No.
the link just doesn't work.
Okay.
So what we can do is to redirect. If somebody has a link after you sent September and they decide to donate on April, we can create a redirect. If they click that link, it will direct to now
Yeah,
where we are at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the
So
people
what
from the
happens, Nuna,
concert,
so using Jeff's example, in December, I made a donation using the health link. I made a monthly donation, and in my brain, it's just going to go on and on and on. I'm never going to turn it off. So a year and a half from now, this donation is still coming out of my bank account.
Mhm.
How do we redirect that from the health campaign back to the general fund without initiating a new recurring transaction?
There is a way on donor box. If somebody has become a monthly donor on Give the Gift of Health, and we want to add that and maintain the general fund, we can just move without them not being notified.
But that means every month we have to go find these people and move them in the background.
Yeah, if we want to add the campaign that's going, but we want to move with our monthly, then we have to go and do it manually behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
just the way we do everything. We've done that
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
but now if we're going to be effective in fundraising and have a significant increase in the number of donors, I can't imagine having 100 monthly donors and every month having to redirect those monthlies because we're closed. We no longer want to use that link.
I think that's why it's important for us to have a specific monthly campaign that we don't need to do. If we are running a campaign for a specific time, we don't need to ask them to become monthly donors because we know it's for a short
Yeah.
period of time.
And the only challenge with that is that means we can never use a campaign to gain monthly donors.
Correct.
And I don't know that we want to do that.
Right.
Every campaign, we want people to become monthly donors. And the only way to do it with the structure that you're talking about is manually do it in the background where there's a button that every time we send out any campaign, we manually create the donate button. And when they click the red one, it goes to the campaign where they make a regular donation because that button says make a one-time contribution. Then there's another button that says become a monthly donor. They click that, and unbeknownst to them, they end up in the general fund. But who cares? Because we just want them to be a monthly donor.
Yeah.
So if each event has its own page and we don't even allow monthly, we just say one-time donor.
Mhm.
And then you've got their information. Now we can direct them towards the monthly campaign.
But
I mean,
now
we've
we
got
have
their
to,
information.
but now they have to initiate the monthly.
They would have to initiate the monthly, but you will be offering that option after you've gotten their information from the original campaign. And that kind of, it gives you a chance to get in front of them one more time.
Mhm.
I think the burden may be less administratively. You know, the big thing is you have a campaign and don't even put monthly on there. Just put, here's, you know, donate to this event. And then you've got their information, you come at them a month later and go, your money is wonderful, we do great things with it, it goes a long way. Would you consider being a monthly donor and going even farther?
What about this? Maybe this will work. So every time we have a campaign, Nuna, you're going to have to create a page on the website that's temporary.
Mhm.
And on that page on the website, there's language that says, hey, donate, support this campaign. Or if you want, become a monthly donor. And
Yeah,
make your contributions last even more. So if they
Mhm.
opt to become a monthly donor as part of that campaign, we're actually directing them to the general fund.
Yeah.
That would work, but that means we never use donor box fund forms embedded in the website. You have to just use donate now buttons, and that will send them to the donor box
Yes.
page.
I think that's it.
Well, and I also
would
think, I
work.
don't know if we have this data, probably easy to find out, and I know it's a micro piece of data based on where we want to get to. But in the past, let's just say the last year, when we started doing the campaigns, we really started them, the unique customized campaigns in 2022.
Yeah, with Dan's
Right.
concert.
Of those, maybe we got 100 donations. Out of the 100, how many monthly donors did we get from that? And I'm going to guess very, 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 very few,
I'll actually go and look right now.
because they had to come in through that campaign. This is not just how many monthly we have, but came in from that, because it is possible that someone comes in the first time and goes monthly. It is possible. But to Dan's point, more often, like a lot more often, I think people are going to donate and then they're going to go monthly. Like, think about it. The people I'm going to reach out to go monthly are people who've already donated, because they've already said, I'm willing to support this organization. So from a
Mhm.
practical standpoint, I don't know how often we're going to get the monthly people. And I don't
So,
want to lose them,
to-
but
To your question, there are no monthly donors on but there's one monthly donor from the campaign.
which campaign?
The concert. We had
Okay.
150 donations for the concert, and let me see.
Right. Well, it was set up
No,
to
we're
say
monthly.
like donate for a ticket, like, yeah.
We have a monthly,
There was a monthly button there, Christine. Nobody used it.
we have
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect them to, just again, because it was set up in the language of thinking of like a ticket per person
so we have 5 monthly donors. 1, 2.
total, but not coming from that specific campaign, she's saying.
No. The concert, no, but we have one from Give the Gift of Health.
Yeah, we have 3 in there.
Oh.
Nick,
Yeah, we have Nick.
that's the only monthly donation that came from that.
Well, we've discussed this a lot. I'm not sure we have clarity, but I don't know in terms of the final decision. I don't know if we will, if we talk about it more.
Well, I think administratively, it sounds like where we landed, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we create campaigns, and on the campaign, we know we set it up as one-time donors. But every single time we're inviting people to donate for the Give the Gift of Health, we also say to them, consider becoming a monthly donor.
And
Do
here's the
more
button.
than this campaign, become a monthly donor. And if they do that, we give them a different button to click on.
Mhm.
In the background, they end up in the general fund monthly campaign. And so
like that.
campaigns are always set up as one-time donations, and we invite, every time we send a fundraiser, we invite them to become a monthly donor, which redirects them to the general fund.
Yeah.
That would work, and that means that we never use a donor box page. We always manage the page they go to in our communication. That's totally doable, and it just requires us all to be, okay, am I using the right link? Let me double check. And if you're not sure, call me or Nuna, and we will send you your unique link.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
Nuna, that means
Yeah.
the setup on your end?
all right. So from that, one of the things that was gonna happen, and Christine, we had talked about getting some language for the a monthly only, is that done? And where does that stand based on this discussion?
Yeah, I can get it to you by tomorrow. I'm gonna go back and look at it. I had a number of things come my way last week, so I haven't looked at it since kind of close to our last meeting. But for those of you that don't know, I think Kim knows because I spoke to Joe and Dan knows. I got laid off from Salesforce. I separated from my partner and I now live in a new place. So those things happened in the last 2 weeks for me.
Wow.
I'm sorry you're going through all of that. That can't
Thank-
be easy.
It's still sunny outside, so that's good. California's nice.
Wow.
But
Well, it all comes in threes, so it's nothing but
I
good from here.
know. There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Nuna and Jana, where are we with and I'm doing some things out of order, but we'll get out of here on time. Where are we in the budget process? The next step was you were gonna have some conversations. Are you ready to come back to the board, or how close?
So the discussion was, we want to get the accounting done before we do the budget, so one can inform the other.
Yeah.
We did not do the accounting yet because there were some challenges for Noonan to get to the bank. She has since received everything. I think you got it all at the end of last week. We have a call scheduled for next week to go through the accounting. I already today spent some time trying to at least get caught up from what you sent, Nuna. But we still need to finish that. That's needed to be done just to create financials for last year. Still don't
Yeah.
have that. The budget conversation will have to follow the accounting work, which means we're at
Okay.
least 2 weeks out from the budget conversation because it's too much time to do it all in 1 week.
Right, okay,
For
Okay.
fun's sake, just so you know, right now in the bank, we have $13,000 in our general account and a roughly 1,000 each in the Kuzadata account and the restricted funds account.
okay,
But I have some question, Nuna, about some of the money we raised for Kuzadata that was in our general fund that we might need to consider shifting around. So for conservative sake, say we have $10,000 in our general fund. And let me pull up the amount of contributions we got in January, because I did pull that. Hang on. January donations. Whew, wow, that is painfully bright. There was one big one, the $3,000 donation, Nuna.
Mm-hmm.
That was one you manually entered.
Yeah.
So including that, we had $4,000 of donations received in January.
okay,
One of them was a $50, rounding up $50 donation for the gift of health campaign. And the rest of them were general fund, split between the two campaigns, Nuna. General versus Inspire, yeah,
okay.
but they're all general fund.
All right, so I get how those all fit together. We got to get the financials done and then the budget conversation. So let's, there's a timing issue in there that, let's just talk about this now. It was brought up a couple weeks ago at the board meeting. We didn't have a quorum. There's a number of conflicts people have with Monday meetings now that did not exist 6 months ago. Obviously, the goal is to have as many people able to consistently participate. And this is more like, look, there's going to be times that we have issues. This is more if we've got multiple people that say, I know I can't do Monday late afternoon, that becomes a problem. Because we know going into it that we've got challenges of having people there and participating. So can the people on the call speak to any known conflicts now? I'd love for us to come out of this we've got, well, we don't have Rachel here and we don't have Berta, but at least some idea to go back and propose to the board members some revised dates.
So I would like to ask the question, I think this also came up last year, moving to a bi-monthly meeting schedule. Because monthly meetings with the other work that's in between might be overwhelming. So campaign work, fundraising work can be done in the interim. Something to think about. If we did that, I still think there would be an obligation on my part to distribute financials on a monthly basis, just so people knew where we stood, or at least fundraising reports on a monthly basis, so you don't wait 60 days just to get an update on the financial piece. But this meeting is every other month, so that's something I would like for us to consider.
Well, and related to that, thank you for that. And related to that is because of the holidays, we got away from executive committee, and I still think those are important. And that might supplement well the bi-monthly meetings as we go into 2023.
In fact, I think that was the conversation, executive committee in between. So the
Yeah.
executive committee is meeting every month, but the full board is only meeting every other month.
Well, any other feedback on that?
I think the only other thing to do is at the end of every meeting, we confirm the date of the next meeting and move as necessary. So we have a default, but confirm every single meeting the next meeting. And don't assume that it's still the second Tuesday at 2:15, but confirm it.
Well, for me, 2 months makes it better. I still would like us to have, like you said, the default, because I know my schedule. When it's in there, I know not to schedule anything around it because I see it. But if it's 2 months out, it's less of a problem. 1 month out is where I know I run into issues of, I wasn't
I'm
able to
beholden to-
carve around it.
Yeah, if I need to, I will schedule over it if it's a client that's asking for a date and time and they're going to pay me for the time. Sorry, folks, but I will bail on you.
So what, any other discussion about going to bi-monthly meetings?
For me, I think that's fine because I like reach out to Nuna regularly anyway, and we chat and keep in touch. So I'm fine to connect with people as needed on an ad hoc basis.
I was going to say that works for me. And then just who do I go to with questions in between as I'm figuring
Mhm.
things out? Should I go to Nuna, Christine, or Jeff? Or I guess it depends on the question.
I would
Yeah.
say it depends on the question and we can get
All
that
else-
clarified for you though.
And if all else fails, ask Nuna. She'll direct
I
you.
mean, you just email us on a thread and I'm sure
Okay.
someone will respond. So
I think
Yeah,
the other
I have the
reality is
group
that
thread.
and the other, sorry, I think the other reality is if we think there needs to be a meeting, then like we ask everybody, when can we get together? Because there's something we need to talk about.
Well, my suggestion on this is if there's sounds like there's general consensus of approval. And you tell me, Janab, based on what you think will happen from the report, financials and budget discussion. Because those are really important. If we were going to do bi-monthly, the next meeting wouldn't be until April. That feels like a long time with those issues. So I'm kind of feeling like we should have a meeting in March and then do like March, May, start the bi-monthly after March because of these budget issues. So I'm curious about how everybody feels about that.
That seems reasonable.
I'm on board with that. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, so does anybody remember the conflict? I know Monday late afternoons was a conflict for at least 2 people on the last call. Are any of those people on this call?
Yeah, Monday would not work for me.
Mondays are not.
Yeah,
good.
Monday, Tuesday, and Friday are no-goes for me.
Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Okay. So.
Wednesdays. And were mornings bad? Because at one point we had them at 9 a.m.
Christine is,
Jane,
Mornings are terrible for me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, depends what.
Oh,
what time-
right. Sorry.
That's why we went
Sorry.
afternoon. It was time zone.
I never liked 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. I was just asking.
But what about, let's just look at this right now we've got some grace because if we're going to go by monthly, but let's look at March. If we were going to look at a
22nd.
Wednesday in March,
I'm tossing out the 27th, the 22nd. The key bank statement came fairly quickly, Nuna. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's also because we're getting emails and having ongoing access, like we didn't have that at TD Bank. But
so how are we looking for Wednesday, March 22nd? 4:00 Eastern.
That's fine with
Okay.
me.
I also, the reason I said the 22nd, Jeff, was because it used to take a while to get the banking information, but we could move it up to the 15th if that was another date. So it's not so long.
I'm closing on a property the 15th, but I don't know when.
So
What
the
time it-
22nd.
Well,
I'm
let's
going
do
into a lot of
this.
debt on the 15th.
All right, so let's go with the 22nd. It allows plenty of time for the financials and those discussions. Maybe there's some follow-up discussions. We know we've got some potential issues. We'll look at going to bi-monthly after that. So then the next meeting would be in May. We'll look at getting the executive committee back fired up with those meetings. But so the next meeting will be the 15th of March at 4:00 p.m. Eastern.
That's actually a good cadence because that means we end our last meeting in November as we head into fundraising season, and then we'll check in again in January after that.
Right.
So that's actually a good schedule.
So the board meeting's on the 22nd, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Got it.
Nuna, will you send that calendar invite out?
Yes, I will.
Okay. The only other thing I want to make sure we cover today, well, I don't know if we have time. Now, here's the dilemma. We don't have a ton of time today to talk about Kenya. We got a little more information, but I feel like if we don't talk about Kenya again until, well, no, we're going to talk next month. I think we're okay with that. So the other topic though, on the fundraising side, Christine, you brought this up 2 months ago. You suggested, and we generally agreed, we need somebody to take point on corporate fundraising as a separate category and strategy. And that hasn't happened. So I'm curious, is anybody, and this is not about doing it alone, but
Yeah,
is anybody feeling some calling or desire to head that up?
I'm once again ducking. Okay.
Why don't you be more obvious? Stand in the
I-
fire of the silence.
I
Oh,
just want to reiterate,
nice.
it wouldn't be, yeah, you wouldn't be on your own. I can certainly guide, but I can't, I feel like I'm trying to get the real focus on monthly stuff going and that donor base. So if someone could lead corporate, and again, that's both money and in-kind donations would be the ask.
Okay. Well, I will do this. I will commit. I'm not prepared to make the full commitment, but I will commit to having a conversation with you, Christine, about that.
Okay,
For
cool.
me looking at that, because I do feel, and I mean, I'm really passionate about that. I know how important it is. So I will commit to have a conversation with you, Christine, before the next meeting about that.
That sounds great.
Okay.
I'm open to understanding what it means. I find the whole concept of fundraising intimidating because I don't know how to do it. I find corporate fundraising to be way more comfortable than individual fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to be part of that and just listen.
Sure.
And I'm good at individual fundraising. You just need to tell me where to go. Jeff, can I say something else?
Yeah,
So I know last time I shared shortly about the yoga studio that we have. I would really encourage you to go to the website and see the work we are doing in Maine. So Yoga Studio is a studio, is a program. You see, like now I'm just trying to explain now the program that's going on in Maine.
Is it on the
We-
website available
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, if you
Maine?
click right now on the website, you're gonna get all information. So in Kenya, Wounded Healer has the City of Peace Shelter. And in Maine, we have Kivurini Afro Yoga Studio. They are all both like programs that we support. So our Afro Yoga Studio here is the program that will get money, restricted fundraising, the restricted grants that will go on and pay me my salary. And the people who are coming in the yoga studio is a donation-based yoga, so they get to donate, and that donation support Kenya. So it's a chain of my mind that played along, and it's going on well. So at least one class, I raise $100. I do those classes twice a week. So
It's really amazing. Can I make one suggestion? I have to tell you, I smiled when I saw this. On the page where you have the picture of people doing yoga, perhaps pick a different pose. Seriously, one where they're maybe in downward facing dog or in child's pose or something like that.
We'll take more pictures as we move forward.
But that picture is a very interesting choice. That's all I'm saying.
But anyway, I wanted to let you know that it's been a bit challenging to have a clear understanding of the board of what are we really doing in Maine, what programs are going on in Maine. So it's easy for us to talk about it because Wounded Healers own and operate an Afro Yoga Studio that it's also a healing center that continue to provide support for women from Africa who have experienced sexual violence. So that studio has raised a lot of attention in Maine. And as we speak currently, two restaurants are raising money for us for Wounded Healers the whole of this month because it's Black History Month. So, and so many organizations and even the local government has reached out to us because it's the only Afro and donation-based, is only the Black people and donation-based yoga in Maine. So we've received a lot of love, and we are hoping that as we move forward, it's going to be a huge donation income, because whenever people ask you, what are you doing for Maine? Those people who always ask that, now you have something to say.
Perfect. Congratulations, Nina.
Yeah.
It's a huge achievement to get that
I wish I
program.
could have come up there for the.
I know.
I couldn't make it work. But I have a potential speaking gig. I have a potential client in Maine. Actually, we're having an initial conversation, so I might be there.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
and that's a
And
great
Boston is 2
reminder,
hours away,
everybody,
right?
to keep in mind, constantly be scanning for places where Nuna can speak. Even if it's virtual, sometimes I get trapped in the idea of physical location. So many people are still doing virtual things, and it's easy for you to get on the Zoom. And we all know you are an attractor. Your story attracts people and interest and passion. So keep that in mind. That's fundraising. Getting Nuna out to speak is fundraising. There's a lot of elements to it. Okay, everybody, I want us out on time, so we can get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Okay, got a second?
I'll second that.
Dan, all right, all in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
So my parting message
Aye.
is tell the story and make sure you're keeping up on the emails. I know Berta shared some information updated about Kenya. You know, the board meetings will be spread out more starting after March, but that means we need to be communicating more between them and not just waiting for the meetings. So that's just going to be a
I
shift.
just realized that we never did talk about Kenya, and that's a big thing that we need to figure out.
Well,
big-
we're going to have to make that a priority in the March discussion because we need to move on that.
Yeah, unless we have to have an interim call, because that's a lot of time and a lot of money, and we don't want to
Yeah.
lose
Yeah.
45 more days.
Yep, fair enough. Maybe an executive committee meeting. Okay,
All right. Thank you
thanks,
all.
everybody. Have a good afternoon.
I
Yeah.
Bye.